Hey Mike, how are you?
Good, John.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Come on, we'll do some coring today.
Yeah, coring part 2.
Yeah. I've already got the blank mounted on the lathe, but we'll go over the cutters and how to set it up and what you get when you buy the cutter and the base unit, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
I like the coring. I got into coring. I've only been turning a couple of years, but all the wood chips and all the waste was going on with the bowl. So I got to looking to see if there was a way to salvage the wood and do something with it other than making wood chips and throwing it out the back. So watching the YouTube channels and watching OneWay, I see that they had a coring system. McNaughton's got one, and I think there's another one out there, I'm not sure. But the OneWay, there's not much of a learning curve. The bad thing about it is one bowl is going to be one bowl. There's no way to maneuver around anything else. So I got into coring bowls, and it just makes a nesting set, and it doesn't make wood chips that I have to throw away. Okay, so I got the OneWay coring system. I only have 3 knives. I got the large knife and the small knife and one of the ones in between. They have 4 knives. The biggest one I have is I think 16 1/4, but they say that you can go 2 inches one way or the other. So if that's the case, I don't think I'd ever go any more than 17 1/2 for the largest bowl. Now I have an 18-inch swing. I've got a Laguna 1836, and with OneWay, the 16 and the 18-inch base is the same, and they just put a spacer in the. Let me come over here and get the spacer. I've got the base unit here. I have 2 of these, but you use a spacer for the 18-inch swing in order to use the 16-inch base for the 18-inch lathe. So then the next is when you buy the cutter, you get the finger which goes with the cutter, the finger that goes with the cutter, and then you get the knife, and then you get the cutter, which is I believe it's carbide. I buy the carbide, but I don't know if they come with high-speed steel. But
yeah, they've got an M4 high-speed steel.
Okay. The old one just had like a square edge, and now this one here is like a negative rake scraper. So each cutter, each set comes with a finger, a knife, a cutter, and I believe a handle. And the base unit you have to buy separate. Oh, okay, so I guess we'll go with the setup and we'll go from there. All right, so now I face this off, and then the first core that I'm going to use, I always leave a tenon on it so I can mount it to turn it around and put a tenon on the other end of the bowl. So now I'm gonna take this off and get ready to set up the coring system so we can core the bowl. Well, I got the base unit set up now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my largest cutter about 1 inch away from the jaw, so I know I got at least an inch and a half in the bottom of the biggest bowl. So I'm going to measure that. Okay, now I'm going to measure from the end of my chuck, and I got about 1 1/2 inches, so that's going to give me about 1 1/2 inches the bottom of my biggest bowl. And I don't want to ruin the biggest bowl because they say that is the money maker. And now remount my blank. All right, now I've got to do the layout for setting up the knife for the cut. So we have a 16-inch blank. So I want to keep 10%, so I'm 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go here, 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to go 3/8 for the cutter. Okay, so then that's going to give us a 12-inch bowl. So 1.25 inches. From there I'm going to go 1.25 inches and I'm going to mark there, and then I'm going to go another 3/8 of an inch there, and then that's going to give us a 8-inch bowl, 4-inch bowl. So I'm going to go in 1 inch, and then another 3/8, and I'm just probably not going to save that. I'm just going to make that a core. So now,
Just keep the shavings off the floor
yeah,
from
just
the
keep
center.
the shavings off the floor. I watched a video about setting up a laser for this, so I don't have to keep taking the blank off. And I've got the material and the laser and everything to do it. I just need to get it set up. So now I'm going to get my smallest knife and I'm going to set this up. And I'm going to bring this up to where I mark my line for my largest bowl. That way I know I got it. And I'm going to get my square. I want to keep this pretty much straight with the lathe. And that looks good right there. Alright, so I'm going to bolt that down. So now I got my knife set up on my mark for my first bowl. And I always work from the inside to the outside. So now I'm going to set my finger up, and you want your finger to be right on, because the finger is the support and you don't want to bend your knife, and you want to make sure that your knife is biting on your finger. Okay. Okay, so now we want to move this up underneath the finger for support. This would be like your steady rest, or your banjo.
Your tool rest.
Tool rest, yes. Okay, so we want to make sure everything's tight. Make sure that it's there. Turn the lathe down, and you don't want to run over 500 RPM. So right now I'm going to turn this up. Right now I'm running about there, I'm right at 500 RPM. So now I'm going to hold this and I'm going to come in. It's got a good steady pressure. This is a green wood, or wet, yeah, green wet wood. And now,
That's cherry, right?
yeah, cherry. Now when I'm going in, I press it in on the knife and pull it out of the knife to make sure I got a lot of room for the chip to come out. Keep pulling it out. Even though this wood is green and wet, it's still pretty hard. Okay, now I'm going to stop and pull my cutter up, and I'm going to loosen my finger up. When it gets to about this spot right here where it first starts to come up, you want to advance your finger in there so you're going to have support for your knife. Tighten that up, and you want to turn it backwards to clear the chips in case there's anything in there. I'm going to pull my knife back out, pull the cutter back in. I'm going to start the lathe. Now that I can get in there, I'm going to put the tool rest or the tailstock up, kind of keep the vibration down and just give me a little more support, a little more safe, a little more safety. Okay, go back, forward, back to forward. Now, when it comes about parallel to the cutters, there we are. There's our first core. Okay.
John, let's talk a little bit about sharpening.
Okay. Well, OneWay sells this jig. They show it.
Put it on a plate.
Okay. They show it doing it with your fingers, but my fingers are so big, and I want to keep the skin. So I bought this jig.
Yeah.
And you get it from OneWay. So the way I do is I figure it's about 40 degrees for the side. So I'll lay it up there for the 40 degrees, and that's all I do. And then I turn it to the other side. Get my mark here, bring this up, just do that to sharpen it, and then do the face, bring it up.
Or do a diamond hone.
Or do a diamond hone, and that's the only thing, that's all I do. And then to face it off, I would just stroke it with diamond hone, and that's all there is to sharpening. Well, now we went to the next knife, and when you're cutting and when you're setting this up, you want your cutter to be at center or slightly below. And then when you put your finger in, slide that in, and you want to make sure that the cutter is on the head, because this is what your support is. There's two different, you can adjust the height by loosening this nut up and turning this screw either in and out to lower or raise this finger to get it so the knife is right in on there.
And that's a one-time setup, basically.
And that's a one-time setup.
Okay.
Same way with the knife. You want to make sure that your knife,
same kind of adjustment.
It's the same kind of adjustment. You want that on center or slightly below. So now we're going to...
And your core tool base post, or the base,
right,
once you set that for your largest bowl, it really doesn't change. All you're changing is the setup on the knives.
Right. When I set this up, I use my largest knife for the largest bowl. So as long as I leave that there, I know that I'm not going to go through the bottom. I'll have at least 1.5 inches, hopefully, if I got everything right, hopefully I'll have 1.5 inches in the bottom of the money bowl. So now I'm back to using the OneWay cutter, and Mike has brought another cutter from Hunter Tools, and we're going to core the last bowl with that, and we'll see what the difference is between the OneWay cutter and the Hunter cutter. So start it up. I got about 500 RPM. We're going to start the cutter. We're at the end of it, so now we're going to pop the core. And there we are. There's our second core.
There we go.
So there's two. All right, we got one more core to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the largest knife. We're going to pull this off here. I'm going to go with the largest knife in the next finger. But this time we're going to core with
the Hunter Core Pro system cartridge. Okay, here's the Hunter Core Pro cartridge mounted using the same screw in the same hole to replace either the high-speed steel or the carbide that comes with the OneWay.
Let's make sure it's tight.
You got to tighten everything down.
Check this.
We'll put the larger knife on it.
Okay, so here we go. Start this up, running about 500 RPM. Hold on to this. I can tell already.
Oh my gosh. Let me back off, get these streamers, John. I gotta show this. All right, start it again.
All right, here we go. This is This is phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's no shadow. I mean, it's just, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this.
And the surface of the wood, I'm sure, is going to will match that smoothness.
Oh.
We'll look when the core comes out.
Yeah, I really had my doubts about this, but oh my goodness. Okay, I gotta stop it now and advance the finger.
That was quick.
Yes, yes. I don't think I've ever changed.
I can see the advantage of this is not only do you get through more bowls, it looks like you're probably able to cut faster.
Oh,
so if you were doing a lot of cores, you save a lot of time.
Here we go again. I'm not going to wait that long. Clear them a little more.
Yeah, I think just pull the knife in and out. Just keep pulling the knife in and out, I think. And it'll bring the chips with it.
I think it was just something catching it there. Alright, I'm going to advance the finger again.
Touch it and back it off 1/4 inch or so, huh?
Yeah, just bump it in. Oh yeah,
action.
Yeah. From the side grain to end grain, it's going to be different with cutting. And then here's the side grain. Here's the end grain.
So your initial cut is the best cut, right?
Yeah. Then you get around to the near the back, and you're going to be cutting end grain again. And when you get to the end grain again, you can really, when you go into side grain, you can really tell it.
Whoa, boy, that's a lot of chips.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hogging out so much. You got to clear it regularly, in and out, in and out, in and out. I think is key.
Yeah.
Yeah, in and out, I think. Because your regular cutters don't cut nearly that much at one time. So you're cutting a little deeper with the regular ones because it's not as aggressive.
This is very aggressive. Very aggressive.
And for a core that size, how many times would you normally need to adjust that finger?
About 4. Man. Knife in, my finger in.
Back spin it to clear the chips.
Once you get by them chips,
Sweet.
there we are.
Got just a little bit of rubbing on the finger there.
It might be that finger that was hit, I don't know.
Okay. John's doing a little cleanup on the money bowl before we take the blank off the lathe. So now that John's got the core cleaned out, he's going to mark center by using the tailstock. Just punching a small divot. Okay, there's the coring that we did today with that one big cherry blank, and that was what, 16 inches for the outside?
Yep.
And here's a close-up of the difference in the chips between the carbide cutter on the left and these beautiful streaming shavings that we were getting with the CarPro cartridge from Hunter Tool Systems.